Why are you arguing with her if you're there looking for Dave?
Because I asked for Dave and she kept telling me to get off of her property and yelling at me, telling me
she said get off her property, and that's where you should have gone. Off her property. And if you were legitimately concerned about your baby instead of the boyfriend, then you wouldn't have gone there in the first place with friends. That's why we shouldn't allow 16-year-olds to have babies.
Now it's case number 46 on the calendar in the matter of Elmore versus Simpson Roja. You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat.
What's your first name?
Destiny.
Her father?
Yes, ma'am.
Name?
Sierra Simpson.
Are you her mother?
Yes, ma'am.
Destiny, it is your claim that this young lady and others assaulted you, and that was over a boy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the defendant says that you assaulted her first. Who was this?
That's my brother.
He was present.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to start with you. What's the name of the boy?
David.
You were dating David?
I was pregnant with his baby.
How old are you?
16.
That's great. How do you support yourself?
I work.
Full time?
No, I go to school.
So what were you doing having a baby?
It was a mistake.
And what did David do for a living?
Nothing.
What'd you have to say about that when your daughter told you she was pregnant?
No, I just dealt with it. Not much I could say. Took her to see Dave, told him about it, and went from there.
And then what happened, Miss Roja?
There's been nothing done about it. He has not contacted her, no paternity, nothing.
Well, what about her?
She stays at home, she works, and she's finishing school, and she takes care of the baby.
Were there other possibilities as potential fathers?
There is one more.
Has he had a paternity test?
They're in the process of doing that.
But not with Dave?
We tried to get Dave to do a paternity, and he won't return calls.
All you have to do is go to court. How old is he?
19, I believe.
So as far as you know, it could have been either one of these two people. And how old is your baby?
2 months.
When did this incident happen, Miss Elmore?
August 15th, 2009.
Tell me what happened.
I was receiving threatening phone calls for an amount of days.
From whom?
Sierra and a couple of her friends.
What were you calling her for?
I was calling to get a hold of Dave because when I was pregnant, my sack that the baby was in had a hole in it. And I had to get a hold of him to tell him what was wrong with the baby. And she told me he wanted nothing to do with me or the baby and that she was going to kill me.
Why didn't you call Dave at his house?
He didn't live at his house and he only had a cell phone, which she had. And she told me she was going to kill me and my baby.
Just a second. You called her?
I called Dave's cell phone. She was answering it.
Well, then evidently he was at her house.
Yeah.
Now, Dave isn't a physician, is he?
No.
So he couldn't help you with anything with regard to what was physically wrong with this baby?
No, I just wanted to let him know.
Great. Okay, so you were receiving phone calls from her for a while.
Yes, because David got his cell phone number changed because she wouldn't stop calling him. And when he did, she didn't have it anymore, so she had my cell phone number and she started to call my cell phone. I actually have audio.
You have a recording of her calling you?
Yes.
I'd like to hear it. I'll take it up here. It's easier for me to hear it up here.
Your Honor, this is her threatening to come kill her.
So I'm not even playing. If you do not tell me when my baby's here, I'm going to kill you. I'm not playing because this is my baby shower, and you should have called me when you got out of the shower, not your.
What did you go over there for?
To find Dave to talk to him about my baby.
Who did you go with?
My sister and my friend.
Why didn't you go with your mother?
We weren't talking at the time.
Why?
I was living with my sister.
How old is your sister?
27.
Where is she today?
At home.
What does she do?
She's a stay-at-home mom.
How many children does she have?
2.
How old are they?
3 and 4.
Who else lives in her house?
Her fiance, but he's in the Army.
Her fiance. Is he the father of these 2 children?
Yes, he is.
What happened when they got there, Miss Elmore?
My brother went outside because Sierra was the only one that came up onto my driveway.
Your complaint says that somebody called first. Who called first?
His name is Kevin.
Who's Kevin?
My friend's boyfriend.
What's your friend's name?
Karina.
So you weren't just there with your sister. You came with a boy.
Couple boys, Your Honor.
And what does this boy Kevin do?
I walked up to the door.
What does he do?
I don't think he has a job.
So he does nothing?
No.
How tall is he?
I do not know.
Well, is he as tall as this gentleman?
Yes.
So he's a big boy.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had Kevin call, and then you went over with a couple of your friends, including Kevin.
I didn't know Kevin called.
So you just went there.
Yes.
Go.
I picked up Kevin and Karina and Junior.
What'd you pick up Kevin for?
Because they were coming back to my house to help me babysit because I had 4 kids and I was pregnant.
Well, if they were helping you babysit, that means you had something to do in the afternoon. What'd you go over to her house for?
To find Dave before I went to babysit.
Why?
Because I wanted to get paternity.
You hadn't had a baby yet.
They can take a needle and stick it through your stomach and get it out that way.
Why would you do that?
So I could tell who was the father.
So you went over to her house and what?
I started walking up her driveway, and that is when her brother came out and he pushed me. And that is
Her brother
when
pushed you. He didn't push you before he said something. What did he say?
he said, "Get off my property."
Get off your property. And what did you do?
I stood there, and then he came up and he pushed.
Just a minute. So at this point, you're trespassing.
Yes, ma'am.
You understand that you're trespassing?
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you understand that she's trespassing?
Yes, ma'am.
This point, the person who lives in the house told you to get off the property because you've already threatened to kill his sister.
Yes, ma'am.
Not because of anything she did, but because of something allegedly that David did. David's allowed to dump you for somebody else.
He didn't dump her. He was seen
He's
both.
allowed to dump
Yes,
you for
ma'am.
somebody else. And you're 16 years old. He's allowed to have a lot of girlfriends. And you're supposed to take care so that you don't come pregnant. So you were trespassing and her brother pushed you. And then what happened?
And then that's when Kevin and Jean got out the car and started fighting him, and Destiny came out, and we started going back and forth, and then we started fighting. And then my sister and Karina got out the car, and then her other friend came out the house.
And
And we all started fighting, and then we left, and then the cops pulled us over.
what happened when the cops pulled you over?
They asked us all what happened and found out who hit her brother in the eye, and then they gave us all tickets to appear in court.
And what happened to your ticket?
I got harassment in the second.
So you pled guilty.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, we have a video of the fight. We taped it.
Oh, I'd like to see it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When the homeowner said to you, get off my property, you should have turned around and left. You're not playing with a full deck.
And later today,
What is wrong with you people?
Sorry, Your Honor.
I said, what's wrong with you? How can you live like this?
16-year-old Sierra Simpson came to her home and assaulted her.
Okay.
Yeah, they started videotaping it after her brother came out.
I don't care whether her brother pushed you or not. You were trespassing. And you came there to hurt her. No question in my mind you came there to hurt her. For no reason.
She went there to talk to Dave.
Dave wasn't there.
Yes, he was.
Just a second.
Hold on.
If you look, she hit me first in the left-hand corner.
Play it back.
That's where she hits her. Damn.
Oh, there you go. No, you went out first. And you weren't there looking for Dave. Why are you arguing with her if you're there looking for Dave?
Because I asked for Dave, and she kept telling me to get off of her property and yelling at me, telling me
She
was
said,
going
get off her
to kill
property,
my
and
baby.
that's where you should have gone. Off her property. And if you were legitimately concerned about your baby instead of the boyfriend, then you wouldn't have gone there in the first place with friends. That's why we shouldn't allow 16-year-olds to have babies. Because if you were legitimately concerned about the health and welfare of your baby, where there was a hole in the sac and you had to take a paternity test, if you were legitimately concerned, you would have stayed home in your sister's house and babysat for the 4 children and not put yourself in a position with your 2 friends to have a fight. And when the homeowner said to you, get off my property because you were looking for trouble, you should have turned around and left. It's just because you're not playing with a full deck. Who are you living with now?
My mother and father.
When did you go home to their house?
When I was about 8 months pregnant,
Why?
because I needed the help and
Right.
noticed I couldn't do it on my own.
Correct. Have any medical records?
Yes, ma'am.
Outrageous.
Would you also like the police report?
I would. What do you want to show me?
No, we've got the police report.
In
and
the police report, she started to write out, and she put, Sierra came to my house to talk to me, scribbled it out and put, to fight me.
You did come to the house to fight her. That's why you brought Kevin. And you weren't thinking about your child's welfare. You were annoyed that he wouldn't take your calls anymore. He didn't want to be bothered. He probably knew that there maybe was somebody else that could have been the father of this child, and he wasn't going to get snookered.
Actually, he was talking to me at the same time because after he tried to get back with me.
Great. Then what did you go to her house for?
No, this was after the fact.
I'm talking about then. What did you go to her house for?
Because she had his phone and she was answering it and I needed to talk to him.
Did he change his number?
No.
Are you telling me that he never changed his phone number?
Not when I was calling him because I was still calling his phone.
Did he change his phone number?
Maybe after the fact.
Do me a favor. You make sure she takes the pill in front of you every morning.
They went to court on this already also, too. We have court papers. She was charged with harassment in the second, and the rest were dropped.
I want to tell you something. That in and of itself is sufficient for me to find in plaintiff's favor that she pled guilty to being the aggressor. Do you understand that? That's a matter of law. Pay attention to me. As a matter of law, she pled guilty beyond a reasonable doubt to being the aggressor and the instigator on August 15th. Whether it was to assault or harassment or trespass, she pled guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
That she went there for the purpose of harassing her. That's what she pled guilty to, beyond a reasonable doubt. So whatever baloney she gives me today, that she was going there to talk to Dave, is baloney, because that's not what she swore to the judge. She did. She swore to the judge that she went there for the purpose of harassing her. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I don't think your daughter understands that.
I believe she understands it, but that's not how it was turning out at the beginning. Destiny called her, knew she was coming over there.
There's something wrong with you, too. If you're making excuses for
I'm not making excuses.
then don't make excuses for her.
I was on the phone with the officer.
Don't make excuses for her. She went there looking for no good. This young lady didn't go to her house. She was the one who had been making all the telephone calls to somebody who clearly didn't want to speak to her.
Your Honor, on my daughter's phone messages, she calls her right before she comes over to the house and tells her, if you don't come meet me at KFC.
Listen to me. Do you have that message? Just listen to me. The answer is either yes or no.
I don't have it.
Does anyone have it?
Yes, Your Honor. It's from somebody else, though. It's from...
Well, then I can't take it from somebody else.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
the apartment was a total mess. I just want you to take a look at how pigs live.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Destiny Elmore says 16-year-old Sierra Simpson came to her home and assaulted her.
Do you have any outstanding medical bills?
Just the one I gave you. I highlighted it.
Okay, so the account balance was $225. I am, Miss Elmore, giving you 10 times what your actual damages were because I believe that you are entitled to that for the pain and suffering as a result of this incident. You made a big mistake. Don't make a second one. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,225. That's all. Step out.
Why does that excuse you, miss? Step out.
I feel that she's a drama queen and she doesn't deserve what she got.
After she hit me, there was 4 girls that are coming out at me, trying to hurt me as well.
She went for my sister, started blaming her, going off on her as it was her fault.
It was ridiculous for her to come to our house like that with more than 5 people.
It happened. It's done. She's got to get on with her life now.
That wraps up a truly chaotic and escalating situation. To summarize, 16-year-old Sierra was at the center of a storm involving a newborn baby and a medical issue during her pregnancy. She claimed she was desperately trying to reach the father, David, but he was actively avoiding her. This frustration led Sierra to repeatedly call David's new love interest, Destiny, who had been answering his phone. But things took a dark turn when Sierra left a threatening voicemail, explicitly stating she was going to kill Destiny. Instead of pulling back, Sierra escalated the situation to a dangerous level, traveling to Destiny's property accompanied by her sister and 2 friends. Once they arrived, the confrontation turned physical. Destiny's brother stepped in to protect the home, sparking a massive altercation between everyone present. In court, Sierra tried to paint herself as an innocent victim of an unprovoked attack. However, the judge completely dismantled her defense. The judge's logic was simple and piercing. If Sierra was genuinely concerned about a medical emergency or her baby's health, the proper channel was a hospital or a legal paternity test, not driving to a rival's house with a carload of friends looking for a fight. The final nail in the coffin was Sierra's own criminal record. She had already pleaded guilty to second-degree harassment in criminal court for this exact incident. Because she had already admitted to being the aggressor in front of a criminal judge, the civil court refused to entertain her excuses. The judge ruled entirely in Destiny's favor, awarding her $2,225 for medical bills and as a penalty for the pain and suffering Sierra caused. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed these cases and the judge's sharp rulings, please hit that subscribe button and leave a like on the video to help us keep bringing you these breakdowns. I also want to hear from you in the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next video.